All right. Few more standard decks in here before we extinguish all hope and shelve the format until we get a new set. We are taking, this is a variation on black-red Kroxa in standard. The more mid-rangey build with like Phoenix and stuff is one that I had shelved because it just couldn't keep up with not only Bant but also like the Fires decks that are running around. So this build's a little bit more on the controlling side. It's got Ox as its second escape card, past Kroxa. It's got a little bit more interaction. It's got Eat to Extinction and Ritual of Soot on top of Bedevil. We've got Ashiok, Tiamat Calls the Dead, and Mire Triton here as ways to fuel the graveyard for the Ox and the Kroxa. So let's dive into some games here and see if having the card advantage that Ox specifically is able to generate is able to sway any of those matchups. The more mid-rangey build felt like it just was coming up short in. Hey, Rolik, thank you for the 37 months of support. That's a long time. I appreciate you keeping me around. Is it ever tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow. Tomorrow it'll be today? Well, that sounds like a problem for future Dude Light. Don't trouble your pretty little head about problems that the future you is gonna have to solve. Three weeks trapped inside by my computer. Who knew doing your job was this hard? Thanks for keeping me entertained. Thanks for the 27 months, DMS. Slow and steady. The sun'll come up tomorrow. Tomorrow, bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow. Do-do-do. That's all I know to the lyrics of this song. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Easy staggering insight. Bit of a blue-white Flyers brew here, looks like. A Spectral Sailor in play. Got a Fairy Vandal here. Our Mire Triton not looking particularly stellar against a deck full of flash creatures. So this could potentially get bigger, but I think I'd rather kill the Spectral Sailor because they're down to one card, so I'd prefer to take their potential for card advantage out of play. We can hopefully survive this and find another removal spell. Your son thinks you're crazy because you're singing. Well, that clearly means you don't sing enough, and the only solution is to sing more when around him. Have you considered singing more often? Main deck Dovin's Veto. Okay, that's a choice. I could have played the Murderous Rider here, but I think trying to take both cards out of their hand sounds appealing. Nice, Gummy Pizza. Yeah, Historic's been a real breath of fresh air in general. Hey, sweet. That's something Mire Triton blocks. You love to see it. We have 3 cards in our bin at the moment. I think I'm just gonna go thing here. I don't know that we're gonna die to the 1-2. I think we're gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be alright. Do. Let's let us gain some life here. Ashiok's gonna floop a whole bunch of cards into the bin for Kroxa. I guess I could just play Big Ox too. But I'd rather just play Big Ox. I'd probably close this game out before I need to escape these again, huh? Let's just do it. It's a 4-2, discard 2, draw 3. Puts 2 more cards in the bin, so we'll be up to 7, so we can escape one of these bad Mamma Jammas. Yeah! Grab life by the horns, chat. Ooh, that's a good one. Gains a whole bunch of life, he says, before he gets life bountied. The Rider alone should gain us enough life to be reasonable here. So down to 9. We'll attack with these, and then we'll escape this. Actually, they actually might be dead to just like this plus escape. They take 8, they go to 5 here. They die to this if they don't block. Crunch. Goodbye, Felicia. Morning, Terminator. I'm doing all right. As well as one can be under the circumstances. Alright. Disfigure sounds good. Scorching Dragonfire sounds good. Storm's Wrath sounds good. What doesn't sound good? Some Agonizing Remorse might be okay. Mire Triton's probably a trim because my opponent's deck is largely flying creatures, and like this is only good when it's a removal spell that blocks, essentially. I'm going to cut Eat to Extinction because it's a 4-mana piece of just point removal that just gets countered by, you know, things like the Iliad that they had in play, or like a Spell Pierce and Dive Down aren't legal, but like Veto, stuff like that. This card loses tempo a lot of the time in a matchup like this. I think Cry of the Carnarium is potentially good. We'll trim a couple of copies of Ashiok here. Seems fine. Just like load up on Doomblades essentially. Just like every piece of point removal and sweeper that we've got. This is definitely a what I like to refer to lovingly as a kill all the things matchup. So anything they put on the board, we want to take off of the board. Chitus, if you're still in chat, I saw you earlier. I'm not sure why my emails aren't coming through to you, but yeah, that's a fine submission for Menace Tribal. Feel free to just make a donation using the donate link, or cheer appropriate amount of bits. Yeah, this is fine. We're on the we need like land 3/4, but we're on the draw and we have a scry. He said optimistically. Big fan of your content. I can't watch live regularly, but I catch YouTube on the reruns. Hope this Prime helps support. It really does, Elson. I wouldn't be here without folks like you dropping that off. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're staying safe out there. So we'll go Kroxa here. If we're professional and run off an untapped land next turn, we can go Calls the Dead. Although I'm not even sure we want to Calls the Dead on 3, just because we kind of want to set up for Ritual of Soot. It's the card I'm most excited for in the new set. So far, I think my favorite spoiler is the Cycle Turtle. Cycle Turtle seems pretty sweet. Hey, morning, Lucas. I would wager a significant amount of my audience is work from home. There's another check of people who like work second shift or like are in Europe or Australia or other parts of the world, but probably a lot of daytime work from homers. I agree. It seems to me as a control finisher. Cycling in general is going to be really good with. Cycling in general will be good with. I'm going to lead on this as opposed to just jamming the Cry because I could try and clear a counterspell here. I'm going to take Aether Gust. Cycling in general will be good with the Draw 2 archetype. If you donate $20, does that bump your Grixis Historic deck to today? It does not. So, as a heads up, I only rearrange my current day schedule for large donations, usually $50+. So once I've gone live, my list of decks locks in sans large donations. I like to do that so I can keep things consistent, so that way people know when I go live and they see the title, they know what to expect. Been on paternity leave and going back next week. Thanks for the content. Thanks for the 2 months, Brecker. We had 2 Kroxas. I guess we'll exile 1. Sure. One year now. PNF Hunter. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. Misha, thanks for tweeting the link to my stream that I forgot to put in my tweet this morning. I appreciate you. As a heads up, I am off tomorrow. Remember, schedule has me off a couple days during the week, so it'll be up Wednesday if it's in the top. I think I plan to do 3 decks on Wednesday, 3 or 4, probably 4. I was looking at my schedule, and I think I'm actually gonna end up taking Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday off this week, because I think I need a 3rd day off to get ready to do the tournament on Sunday. I think it's probably something I'm gonna need to do, to have time to get ready for that and not just fall behind on doing school stuff with the kids and getting stuff ready around the house. I don't think it's my internet that's actually dropping at this point. I think it's something related to my actual computer. But we'll find out. We're slowly working it down. It wasn't my wired connection. It wasn't the fact that I didn't have a static IP address. Just trying to slowly figure out what the issues are. I picked up. No, it has nothing to do with system resources. I think there might be a bug with my operating system, so I've been, like, for forever, I've used a Linux setup, so I bought a second SSD that I'm going to take tomorrow to get set up with Windows. And I'm going to roll, because nothing else in the house is dropping out, Christy said. So at one point I thought, well, maybe it's just because of the types of services they're using, but yeah, it's not acceptable to have my connection dropping out like it is, you know, a couple of times a week, so it's like slowly narrowing it down. It's the same thing that's been happening. I mean, I guess it's the weirdest thing. It's just like a brief split-second drop. And, like, to make issues worse, like, I did some debugging the other day, and the other day when I was doing debugging, it's not just a normal network disconnection, because when I unplug my network cord and then plug it back in, OBS appropriately reconnects itself, and when the hiccup happens, OBS drops off and fails to reconnect itself. I have to close OBS and restart it, because OBS also has a bug where when it loses connection and can't reconnect, it doesn't let you appropriately end the stream. You have to kill the application and restart the stream, because OBS is also buggy apparently. Yeah, it's like running down the list of everything. I thought, yeah, it just, you know, it would be nice if it would just work. And then the other thing is, I didn't realize, so I bought a second M2 drive to set up Windows on, and disable IPv6 on the network adapter. Okay, that's something I can keep on my list, I guess. I don't know why that would have anything to do with it though. I didn't realize when I bought a second M2 drive that to access the other M2 drive, I have to physically unscrew a heatsink on my motherboard. So I have to take the entire system apart as opposed to just sliding it in. Because when my buddy helped me build this computer originally, we used the easy access M2 port the first time instead of using the hard to access one. So I have to like pull the graphics card out, like undo a bunch of cabling to put the drive in. Well, that's a giant mess of things. I think I'm just taking the Cavalier here because it enables the rest of the escape cards. It also can serve to dig them to black mana for the Pelucranos. I'm gonna bottom that, right? Yeah, looking for lands. Hey, Memezil, thank you for the brand new Prime Support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Okay. I think I can... Yeah, I could definitely just disable IPv6 in my network manager. Yeah, Ashiok looking stellar here for sure. And again, remember, regardless of who we mill, we exile our opponent's graveyard. So we get to try and draw a Kroxa or an Ox here, and then we get to exile their bid. Man, it's been a long time since I've really done hardware stuff. Like when this physical tower got put together, one of my buddies came over. I think it was Andrew. Help me put it together. Was it Milby? It might have been Milby. I don't know. I didn't do most of it myself though. It's not too hard, right? You just like pop the things out of the slots and then put them back in. Pick your favorite removal spell. Taking the one that exiles makes sense. Although with Ashiok, it's kind of a moot point. So we get 4 more looks at a Kroxa here. Swing and a miss. I'm just gonna go ahead and attack for 2 and then pass. So I can, like, Bedevil this, and then untap and mill Kroxa and cast it. Wub, 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 wub. Wub, 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 wub. Wub, 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 wub. The glowing red no, chat. It gives me life. It gives me life. The shiny Kuma. It's like building with Legos that cost me $2,000, and if I put them together wrong, I can't do my job. It's like a high stakes version of Legos. It's like disarming a Lego bomb. Oh, I'm dumb. I should have done this first, right? I always do that. Whatevs. Hey, thanks for the 2 months, Teledan. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So Scorching Dragonfire is actually pretty good because you can, when they play Uro, you can Scorching Dragonfire. Oh yeah, that's true. I should mill first because if I hit Kroxa, I want to Kroxa from the bin. Yeah, my sequencing was fine. This is good because you can hit their Uro in response to it sacrificing and then it'll exile itself, which is nice. I think I'm just going to trim Rampage and click submit. I think I like most of our main deck here. Yeah, this should be relatively easy just because, like, it's already put together. I just have to, like, pull the graphics card out, unscrew a heatsink, put the M2 drive in, rescrew the heatsink, put the graphics card back in how it was. Memesol sounds good. That's fitting. Welcome to the full Hoglandia. Easy peasy. Sorry, the thought I was trying to complete when my internet dropped out a second ago is that I think I'm gonna run a little bit longer Wednesday and Thursday, and I think I'm gonna take a third day off this week. I think is my plan. So that way I can have time to get everything set up for the tournament on Sunday. I have to put together some graphic stuff and make sure all my overlays and stuff work. Coburn, thanks for the 18 months. Welcome back. I'm taking Sunday off. Yeah, right. Sunday's gonna be a double. Maybe we'll do a short stream Saturday. That's like I'll ask some people to play some matches for me against each other so I can test some of the coverage setup. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll like do a little bit late Saturday morning. We can like play with the overlay and give feedback. Am I supposed to Agonizing Remorse here or do I hold up Scorching Dragonfire? Let's Agonizing Remorse. Super punished. We'll take the Cavalier Thorns again. Yeah, let's plan to do that actually. I don't know that it'll be super long, but if you're around Saturday morning and can play Arena and want to help, I'm gonna look for people that are interested in helping Saturday morning. I'll need a pair of people. Yeah, sweet. We have a few people. Yeah, it'd be probably good to practice switching between matches and make sure there's not any oddity with that. Okay, so here's the real thing though. So like, part of the reason why I want to do the tournament is to like, so people have stuff to watch, is it gonna ruin the authentic Magic the Gathering tournament viewing experience if I take the time to test this stuff in advance? Like, are you gonna be sad that you're not getting the fly by the seat of your pants testing live experience that you're used to? Is that... I don't want to ruin your immersion. Thanks for the 10 months, Gannon. I appreciate it. Welcome back. The WotC approach. We demand mediocrity. It's not a Magic tournament if you're not doing it live. We need the 45-minute break between rounds so you can troubleshoot your hardware. Yeah, exactly. Alright, so unfortunately I have not found an Ashiok. I think I'm just double Scorching Dragonfiring this. Is there a chance we can do a 1v1 request day in the future? Like, playing against me personally? No, I don't think so. The problem with playing against viewers is that I have enough subs at this point that it'd be difficult to make it so everybody can get that experience, get a chance to play, and like coordinating playing with people leads to downtime, and downtime leads to bad content. So I actually have source code for a fork of Deckmaster that I need to put up on GitHub that a sub had put together, but I need to upload it to GitHub. They sent me a tarbell. I haven't been in a huge rush because Deckmaster got updated quickly, although I guess we have a new set release coming. If the Deckmaster is not updated appropriately, I should probably make time to do that. It just hasn't been, like, having the kids not in school and daycare has just like destroyed any resemblance of free time that I had set aside to get stuff like that done. Am I just oxing here? I think I'm just oxing. Ollie ollie oxen free. I don't think so. The ox stares directly into your soul. His eyes, they penetrate you, chat. They make you feel. They make you question everything you know about your life. They make you wonder if your wants and desires are what they are. He peers deep into your soul. It's just like Lucifer in ox form. It's not a demon ox, so it can't be. You can lie to yourself, but you cannot lie to the ox. If you stare at the ox long enough, you'll believe the modern ban list makes sense. Oh no, the ox is a Watsy plant. It's a Watsy plant, chat. I think we're dead here. So I think they think I'm just going to like re-escape this. However, I'm gonna go ahead and give their Uro the old shrink-a-dink here. And then eat it in combat. Nagate. Rough. Scruff, McGruff, rough. Alright. What's a bad faith argument? A bad faith argument means you're talking from a position that you know is wrong or disingenuous, but you're still talking through it anyways. A lot of bad faith arguments are often phrased as, well, to play the devil's advocate here for a moment. Saying Great. Ollie Ollie oxen free. Prioritize leaving creatures and enchantments in here when possible, because those are what we use with Calls the Dead. Alright, Ox Daddy, I choose you. These sleeves are stellar. You're not wrong. Oh, he even comes back bigger. Oh, yeah. Harder, better, faster, stronger, more than every hour after hour. Ox is never over. Who's a hungry boy? Nom 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 nom. Oh, yeah. Stroke me. You know, just what I like. The ox animation is tops. It's very, very good. Very, very well done. That wouldn't be a big deal if Christy walked in. They cast Stroke. I said stroke me. Come on now. Get your head out of the gutter. I think we're done here. Yeah. Ox not really looking like it's able to do there what we were looking it to do. So the more mid-rangey build of this archetype also struggles in matchups like this. And Ox was not successful in keeping up with the card advantage the opponent was able to put together there. Ashiok, very instrumental in taking over the first game. But that's not a card that's unique to this build. Man, I can't even imagine how much money Channel Fireball is racking up running $25 entry fee tournaments where they have to pay minimal staff to run them and they don't have to rent a convention hall. Wonder how many people they actually have playing in them. Haven't gathered at their. Are there player lists public? How big are those things every 6 hours? Does anybody know? I imagine the pairings list is public, right? Yeah, all the deck lists are public. Wonder what the size of them ended up being. What if they're gonna just be like, no, we're not running paper Grand Prix anymore. This is all over. This is way more profitable. What if we stay home? What if we make money without having anybody leave? So the daily tournaments this week are. The daily tournaments this week are what they're calling last chance qualifiers for some kind of bigger thing, and they upped the ante, so you have to 5-0 the last chance qualifier instead of previously you only had to 5-1. Yeah, I agree, Pelly. It's going to be interesting to see, like, does office real estate get cheaper? because like companies are going to realize, hey, I need less office space because it's cheaper to work from home. Like, do companies see efficiency go up? Yeah, I think it was Efro. One of the MPL players had a tweet up asking what the prizes were if you didn't 5-1, and everybody was just like, "There's no prizes," and they were just like, "That can't be right." There's no reason for no online tournaments, but a $25 entry fee for tournaments to start every 6 hours starts like a lot. It's not a lot if people are paying it. And like for reference, Magic the Gathering Online has regular on-demand tournaments like that too. Like what's it called? They do their, I forget what they call them, but there's literally $25 tournaments that fire on Magic Online with some consistency too. Yeah, poker's not really comparable though, because the poker tournaments that cost more tend to pay more. No, not the challenges. There's something else. They're named something. I don't know. I don't play in Magic Online tournaments, so I don't like keep track of what they're called, but you technically get a draft at a Magic Fest, but for like some large percentage of people, that's a non-prize. I can tell you that my company, a Fortune 50 manufacturing, and they see a painful shift in their corporate culture they are fighting against. As soon as this is over, everyone is back in the office because butts in the seat means people are actually working. They were slow to allow us to work from home because they aren't technically allowing everyone to do it, and we were supposed to be on rotating days. That's wild. I think part of that too is middle managers tend to make a good amount of money, and middle managers tend to make a good amount of money, and in a work from home environment, middle managers will struggle to justify their existence a lot more. There's more why are we paying you questions for middle management if they can't be on top of their employees bothering them. Zeke Zoll, thanks for the 20 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Can confirm, was middle management. My entire job was making sure my employees did theirs. Yeah, that's a good point too. People are even like marginally less productive right now because of like stress and anxiety and children and stuff like that. I think I keep this. Feels bad to get Aether Gusted, just like peak Thoughtseize bug after Remorse 1. I mean, it's hard to equate correlation with causation for things like that, Party Bus CEO. Because, like, there's, like, saying working from home is increasing your stress levels probably isn't really accurate in the current climate that's going on. It depends on your job too, especially people that do like software development stuff. On average, having people constantly bump in and disrupt you tends to disrupt your workflow and decrease productivity. Can confirm, am dev, lock me in closet, and feed me cookies through small mail slot. Yeah, what if we figured out how to coordinate work from home, but like you could still get food from your work? Hey, thank you for the 50 months of support, Punchworthy. That's a long time. Thanks for keeping me around. It's funny, people talking about video chatting. Christy works for a very large company. They actually disabled webcams for video chatting because they were worried about network resource bandwidth, because they have a lot of employees. Woof. Bye, Felicia. It's a good one to grab. So 5-year badge gonna be? I think it's gonna be a dragon to guard your castle, but I haven't decided yet. I also like the first few people who hit 5 years are gonna have first badges and not subscriber icon badges, so I have a little while. Like, I think Punchworthy is going to be one of the first people that has a sub badge, but a first badge. Moving on up the ladder. Do 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 do. Yeah, that's fair. If you don't have a dedicated space. Morning, Mono. Is there a reason you can't just set up a wireless setup for whatever you want to do in your other room? Wireless is very stable these days. For a very long time, my entire setup here while streaming was done via in fact, it's still sitting on top of my computer, even though I have a wired connection plugged in at the moment. I just have a second wireless router that bridges the connection with my wireless router that's plugged in at the wall. Yeah, you could even use a crappy laptop with a decent wireless card for that. Like, for a little while, I had Actually, I have it sitting under my desk. This is an Asus netbook from like 2010 that just like all it did was sit on top of my desktop because it has a good wireless card in it and just like bridge the connection. Yeah, I guess that's fair. If you're in an apartment setting, wireless might still have some issues consistently. There's a certain signal density thing if everybody's got their own router set up. That's not something I've had to consider for a while. Main deck Aether Gust. God, this format is just stains. Just absolute stains. Main deck Aether Gust, cause why not? Healthy and reasonable. Healthy and reasonable. Screw it. Sick. 6, 7. Yeah, it has, Kinex. Believe it or not, the interactive deck appears to have ended up not being particularly good. The interactive deck seems like it's been thoroughly edged out by people being linear. I agree, Civilized Minds. I feel like cards like this are kind of the canary in the coal mine, so to speak. They're like, these are the cards that, like, when you see them appear in main decks, you're like, okay, something's not okay. This is not appropriate. I'm actually gonna take their Uro here. So otherwise they get to cantrip it with this. Now, the flip side of that discussion too, though, is I've heard some people complain about cards like Mystic Dispute. And I actually think Mystic Dispute's a really good example of a well-designed hate card, because Mystic Dispute's a card that's never just dead, right? It's like still bad mana leak at a minimum. I mean, they didn't have anything else, so yeah, they have the babiest of Krasis. Sick. Alright, so we lead on this. They gust it, we bottom it, we escape this, we drain them for 3, we attack them for 2. I don't need the Ox to escape later. I don't have enough cards in my bin to be escaping Kroxa and escaping the Ox, and I'd rather escape the Kroxa and kill them. This is 9-11. I'll let them jump block, that's fine. They're gonna jump block, so they're gonna get it back here with the Elspeth Conquers Death. Are they gonna get it back? No, let's not. Go. This lets us kill them even if they drew a thing that the next turn. Scorching Dragonfire in Angrath Rampage out. That's how we boarded last time. Seems good. if you're to be brutally honest, you actually like the standard Kroxa deck. So I don't know how I feel about this build yet with Ox. I was less than happy with the previous Phoenix-based, more aggressive builds we've been playing. They didn't feel like they really stood up to what people are doing in the format. So far, this build seems okay. For main deck, Ashiok is like the truth, the light, and the word, regardless of what build you're playing. Yeah, I'm gonna put some iteration of Grixis aggro and Historic up on the website. However, I'm probably not doing any website updates until next week. All of my extra time this week is I have to set up my new hard drive in my computer, and I need to get everything put together for the tournament on Sunday. Yep, there's still slots for the tournament too, last I checked, if you're available to play all day Sunday. Yep, we have 168 players. At this rate, I don't envision it filling. So if you're someone who's on the fence, it's not a big deal to wait. We have up to 256 slots. Hoping to draw a red source next turn so we can floop this into play. Okay, let's Murderous Rider, Nissa, and then we'll Ashiok ourselves again here. Killing the Nissa first, that way we can exile it. I like the builds with the Kroxa in it that we had tried most recently, Jamison. The build that we played yesterday felt pretty close to reasonable. That'll be the one that I base off of, whatever I put the website off of. Alright, it's not the black source I wanted for Christmas, but it's better than missing here. Or the red source. It is a black, it's not the red source I wanted for Christmas. That's a Scotch unfortunate. Lets them kill Ashiok here, but we can deal with these. We'll be in a good spot. We have 16 cards in our bid. If we just find a red source, we'll be so well off here. Hey, Erebos, thanks for the 1.5 years of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. No blocks. Go to 7. Even another black source would be fine next turn, so I could, like, go double 3-mana spell. Ideally would like a red, though. No, an Aether Gust. Oh, I guess I could have put that on top, because I wouldn't have mind flipping it over. I'm going to overblock here in case they have some kind of instant speed bounce or something. I want to make sure their 3/3 dies. Bottoms up. You love to see it. Tilt. Alright, so we'll make a zombie before we scry. Alright, they topped a card. There's 27 cards in my bin. I'm gonna mill them. They topped a card. It's not why Ashiok's in the deck, but you know, it'll do in a pinch. I also like kind of have a real concern about running out of cards in my deck this game. Like I only have 17 cards. This has felt very reasonable. I've only played against Bant so far, but yeah, I guess we technically played against the Blue-White Spirits deck. Hey, Toxic Apakek. Thank you for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Land that doesn't hurt me is a stellar draw here against mono red. Am I still playing Raid? An unhealthy amount. I mean, yes. If you're playing Raid and you're not in the subs Discord server, you should pop in. We have a channel in there that's pretty active, myself included. I can almost 2-key the Nightmare Boss. It's a pretty big deal, chat. Oh, did 1.14 roll out? Sick. Is the new artifact management glorious? I want filters while managing my artifacts. No, that's tomorrow, but that feature is now live. Okay. Hey, thanks for the 10 months, Dr. Brouhaha. You stay safe as well. All right, well that wasn't particularly close. Let's see how we fare post board. We get to get a little bit more efficient here. Get to bring in some Disfigure, some Cry, some Redcap, some Scorching Dragonfire, some Storm's Wraths. What am I trimming? We're cutting the Agonizing Remorses. We're cutting the Eat 2 Extinctions. I think I'm cutting Rampage. If you need help picking compositions of heroes too, like I said, if you're not in the subs Discord, those are the types of things we chat about in the raid channel there. Building teams and configuring gear is one of the more interesting things in that game. Yeah, trimming some Ashiok probably makes some sense, yeah. I did not Drunk Owl. There's one champion in the third wave that he just doesn't kill in one shot yet. I need to get a little bit more attack or crit damage on him. If I full scroll him and get the 20% extra damage on the tier 6 master, I probably can 9-second it. It's just the general subs Discord. There's lots of channels for lots of things. There's Magic, there's Raid, there's Politics, there's Sports Ball. Libation gets rid of Annex. I don't know if that's worthwhile. I think it's important to keep some number of Ashiok in my deck because Ashiok does enable our way to win the game, and it's important to be able to not only interact with our opponent, but also be able to appropriately pivot and kill them once we've taken over the game. Oh, that's true. Sorry to the sports ball fans. I wasn't thinking about you. Is there a wrestling/wrestling part of the Discord? So there is a channel for my buddy Matt that used to frequent the stream and is still in chat with some consistency, and wrestling is one of the things he's a fan of. So I'm sure the Bamonte experience has some of that discussion in it. Mapai! Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thank you for the 12 months of support. I appreciate that. Sports, not the E-kind, is technically the place for wrestling conversations. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Wrestling's a sport, right? I don't know how those distinctions work, chat. Swolo Baggins, thanks for the 10 months. Well, if that's their best play, that seems like it bodes really well for us. I'm sorry I touched the can of worms of people who have opinions on what wrestling is. I apologize. So there's people in chat commenting on how it feels bad when we mill lands. And while that's true, it does feel bad. You need to detach yourself from that emotional perspective because Magic's a game where you frequently don't see the entirety of your deck. So like when something like that happens where you mill lands, it's really no different than if you just never drew those cards or never saw those cards. Yeah, they were never in your hand to begin with. Is the best way to think about it. Bye, friends. Whee! It still lowers your chance of drawing a land. Not really. In fact, this is a good thing to talk about. So, like, it only lowers your chance to draw a land if you're milling more lands than spells, or you're milling a higher proportion of lands than there are lands in your deck. As long as the proportions are close to average, which they're often going to be, you're not actually reducing your probability of getting it. And part of the issue too is a lot of people who come from Hearthstone backgrounds have a different view of milling than people who are experienced Magic players. And that's a fundamental game difference, because in Hearthstone, it's very common to see the entirety of your deck during a game, if your deck is built to do that. So like, for example, this probably isn't a deck anymore, but when I played Hearthstone, Shutterwalk was a deck. Milling was very good there because their deck largely didn't function if you milled their key Shutterwalk card. Whereas in Magic, because you don't have those restricted to one copy and you generally don't see the entirety of your deck in a single game on average, the impacts of milling and having things just randomly flipped off the top of your deck is a lot less detrimental compared to Hearthstone. And it's not even strictly just results-based thinking. Like I said, there are other, it's also has to do with like adjusting your point of view from different games. Hearthstone is vintage. No, Hearthstone's probably much lower variance than vintage, he said, with the goal of pissing off vintage players. I thought it was claws that catch. Was it claws that scratch? It's easy to mistakenly apply familiar heuristics to games that are similar. Yeah, I agree. My jaws that bite, my claws that catch. Okay, I was hearing. I played a lot of Shutterwalk. Making me think I was misremembering. Hearthstone is less variance than basically every format in Magic. Magic is an incredibly high variance game. Incredibly high variance. It's just a lot of us are insulated against that variance because we've experienced it so much and so often. One of the key differences is the places where those games load that variance in. Is this better than just playing a 6/6? Yeah, I think so. I think I want to get Calls the Dead going because it eventually sets me up to gain life. Is my goal. Light them up. They're on fire. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with enjoying Hearthstone. Like I said, the variety is the spice of life, right? The one thing that made me eventually push off of Hearthstone, like I enjoyed Hearthstone when I was playing it. I don't know if I enjoyed it like $1,200 worth of enjoyment when I got through whaling in it, but it played some fun games. The deck building in Hearthstone just tends to be very shallow compared to Magic. Is the primary issue with it. Deck building is largely what I get out of these games, or what I look for. I think I've liked this better than the more mid-rangey build of Red Black Titan. Having Ox to gas up and being more interactive has felt good. Ashiok's also been stellar. What about the deck building in Shallow? Can you explain? Yes, so the way Hearthstone removes resource variance from their game is by restricting, they do it by restricting how you're able to put cards together. So for example, just think about the number of permutations of decks you can build in Hearthstone, and think about the number of permutations of decks that you can build in Magic. The fact that there's no restrictions in Magic to which cards you can combine in Magic gives it a lot more deck building depth than Hearthstone can offer because of the way their class system divides up how you're allowed to build decks. You think it's garbage time? Might be close. Is it too aggressive to just Ox here? I kind of want to just Ox here. Those are pretty good hits. All right, coffees for closers. Let's go. Put a cap in him. This can't block, so they're dead. Schnookums! Thanks for the Brandy Prime support, I appreciate that. Or the 12 blah 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 autopilot. Have a sword. Thanks for the 12 months. It's very, very far away from New Prime. I don't know, look at this. This is much better. Love to see it. Maybe I'm supposed to keep the second red source there. I do not. Shuffler confirmed broken. The shillings are purely an engagement driver. They encourage people to tune in more often and give people a little bit of a bonus for doing so. I had originally enabled shillings as testing a method of allowing non-subs to chat on occasion. And, well, we all know how that ended up. But then once I'd added them, I didn't want to take them away from the subs, so, you know, they're there. Letting people that, like, watch a lot, bump decks on occasion is nice. The race for a shillionaire is a fun thing. Who turned off sub-only mode, speaking of? Who just did that? Speaking of letting non-subs talk, stop it. It must not have been recent. Weird. Super Turtle looks really sweet. The cycling turtle is stellar. For new subs that are poking at mod view, please just get out of mod view. If you want to play with mod view, do it on your own channel. Did they just kill my Kroxa that was gonna sacrifice? Did they think I was escaping it? So they're like mono black, I guess. This can exile a cat, and it kills priest and stuff like that. Cry's decent against cat. I don't know that Ritual of Soot's particularly good. Storm's Wrath actually kills Nightmare Shepherds. That might be fine. What do I want to cut? Discard spells tend to not be stellar in these matchups that come down to top decking. Well, I mean, mod view doesn't technically give mods any powers they didn't already had. It's just putting a GUI in front of people who didn't know they had command line arguments. So like mod view didn't actually add any features. It just put buttons in front of people. It gave. Yeah, I don't know if that's good enough, Tom. I don't think it's better than any of the cards I currently have in my deck. So, hoping to mill a Kroxa over next turn so we can escape that. The sagas are foil now. This saga is foil now. All sagas are not. There's a reason the terminal doesn't have a GUI for all its commands. I mean, that's kind of not true. Most terminals have GUIs. So we're gonna eat this while the eating is good. We're gonna get to bin that. Sweet. This comes back and exiles one of my cards. Just pretty. Thank you for the tip. I appreciate it. For some Golgari Elves and Historic. Sounds good. We'll get that added after I'm done today. And as Squirts, thanks to the Brandy Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hooglandia. I don't really want to draw another Mire Triton. I'm going to mill these two, though, so that's fine. I probably just want to kill this, huh? And then we'll escape the Ox next turn. This game was a good example of why Angrath Rampage is really, really bad against Witch's Oven. I'm just gonna do this. I could use this to kill this, but doesn't seem very good. Sounds good, Vienna. I'll get that added after I'm done the day. He stares directly into your soul, chat. You can lie to yourself, but you cannot lie to the Ox. He knows your deepest, darkest desires. Price for Arena Cube Sealed, $50. I think I'm gonna pay 3 and draw a card here. Would that count as a cut the line? Sure. I like money. It's a decent pickup because it means if they block my 2/2, I can, You had 19 mythics in your last cube. Sick. No, shillings never beat actual money. Shillings are a community engagement tool. They don't actually make dollars. Ooh, that's a good call. I should fires first because if they sack it there, I keep the zombie. It's a good call. Yeah, good to point that out. 8 is so many cards, chat. Cry looking a little bit awkward here. Kroxa is looking good. It took us 2/3 of our deck, but we did finally find a Kroxa. Well, Cry exiles. So exiling your own Ox with Cry is, like, not stellar. Huh? They Legions ended my Mire Triton. So they probably have another one for this Kroxa then, right? No? Because they're going to get the last card out of their hand? Seems loose. Oh, you know what? I messed up earlier. I totally should have... I had the option to get a 4th red source, and I didn't. And I definitely should have. Jojo, thank you for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, that's fair. People forget that this has a 2 converted mana cost is probably not inaccurate. It feels more expensive, right? People are paying for it. Yes, people frequently try to conquer Death Kroxa. It's something that happens with some consistency. Much to their dismay. I'm gonna be honest, Coolius. I don't know what you're referring to when you say new Apex cards. I haven't kept up with every spoiler that's come out. The power level of Magic cards is contextual to the format in which they're being played in, so trying to really evaluate cards without knowing the full spoiler is tough. So usually I wait until we get a more full spoiler to sit down and start going through things. I think I'm mulligan this with no red source. This is much better. Yeah, unless they print another Once Upon a Time level mistake, in which case you can look at it and say, who approved this card? Buy 4 of them. Aaron, have a nice, lovely castle to put on your plot of land here in Hoaglandia. Thank you for the 48 months of support. That's almost an entire Declan's worth of months. Thanks for keeping me around. Man, poor Declan. He had been, like, planning things he wanted to go out and do for his birthday for, like, the last 6 months. And now, like, he's gonna have to stay inside. I feel bad for him. He'll be okay. He'll be okay. He'll survive. He's got a lot for a 4-year-old. He's pretty spoiled. So they only have 2 cards in here, and they don't really have creatures in their hand yet. I'm actually going to Ashiok here. Just, like, get rid of their bin and start filling mine up. Yeah, the neighbors... Oh, the glowing red dough! The glowing red dough, it gives me life, chat. It sustains me. Wub, 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 wub. Wub, 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 wub. Wub, 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 wub. You love to see it. Unfortunate that we didn't hit a Kroxa of our own there. Sorry, my neighbor next door had what I assume was her family drive by with like 6 or 7 cars with like happy birthday grandma out the window on signs. Like sweet and kind of sad all at the same time. Yeah, I think we're bedeviling to get another Ashiok activation here. Hey, Bum Daddy, good luck, Godspeed. Yeah, we like drew these right after using Ashiok. Maybe I should have Ashioked first to try and hit this. I don't know. I like potentially making them discard this so I can exile it with Ashiok, but I guess that's pretty unlikely. Really surprised they didn't pay 2 life to draw a card there. Really surprised they didn't pay 2 life to draw a card there. They learned their lesson, chat. We put the fear in them. Yeah, I think if you get some value out of your graveyard, Ashiok's worth main decking in this format. Seems very good. Do we have basics left? Yeah, plenty of basics left. I'm just not fetching because I'd like to draw land. There are casual 19 cards in our discard pile right now. Thanks for putting the Ox in my bin, opponent. I appreciate you. Yeah, maybe I am supposed to prioritize the 4th red there. Swish. God, the Ox animation is so good. And they're still 2 cards off from escaping their Kroxa, so I get to remorse it here. Sick. I'm really glad this is a no justice stream, you know that? Alright, so I get to exile that, I get to escape this. Yeah! Yeah! You love to see it. Alright, so which figure sounds good? Scorching Dragonfire sounds good. Cry sounds good. Rampage seems bad. Ashiok's great because they're a card deck putting stuff into their bin too. Murderous Rider's probably a little bit clunky, and they're an oven deck, so they can often sacrifice their thing. Eat to Extinction also isn't stellar against an oven deck. Maybe Calls the Dead could go away. Would I rather have 4 Calls the Dead, or I'd rather have the Eat to Extinctions? Is Disfigure not good enough? Yeah, I guess that's fair. It doesn't kill Mayhem Devil, it like just kills Priest. Sure, let's try this. The Angrath Rampages have been pretty bad. Feel like that's probably a card you could cut. After this match, we're going to roll on into some historic for the remainder of the stream. I'm going to kick off with my personal favorite, some Yarok Field. This hand might be a little bit optimistic and or bad. Agonizing Remorse and Ashiok, neither of them impact the board, which could be a big deal. Are they too aggressive for Murderous Rider? Murderous Rider is good against aggro decks. The problem with Murderous Rider is against Oven, you don't get the back half of it. Is a real issue. Why not discard the second Ashiok? Are we going to have time for 2? Yeah, I think so. I think the games we winning involve having time for 2. No, I think the Yarok Field list we have up there currently is very, very good. I think putting cards like Ritual of Soot in your sideboard for Gruul means you're probably just not mulliganing appropriately. And in my experience, that deck does not need that card to beat Gruul consistently. Most people tell me they struggle with the Yarok decks against aggressive decks, and then when they watch me play it, they tell me they realize they don't mulligan enough. I think I've won more games with 4 and 5 card hands in the Yarok field deck than any other deck in all of my time playing Magic. The deck plays very well from very little resources. Feels bad, man. Feels Magic, man. Sitting here missing a bunch of land drops. Wow, they're playing Evolving Wilds on top of Fabled Passage, trying to max out that Mayhem Devil value on their lands. We haven't seen any lands yet from Ikiora. I thought someone said that they were printing enemy cycle lands. Is that not the case? Does anybody have a source? I don't have a source on that. I could be making that up, but I thought I heard that they were printing enemy cycle lands. So I'm going to exile these in response to them making the food so they can't bring it back. Oh, I can wait till they sack the food. Yeah, that's true. The problem with that is with me holding... The problem with waiting for them to sack the food is if they play well, they could wait till their turn since I'm holding up mana. And then that gives them an opportunity to get me if they choose not to be aggressive with it. We had a window to win this game if we just hit a second black source. We just didn't. That's how Magic goes sometimes. Okay, I think I'm happy with how we sideboarded. I'm gonna go ahead and run it back. Let's just like draw a third land on time and have double black. I'll bottom that. Looking for like an Ashiok to like propel myself into some threats here. Perfect. It's like Ashiok adjacent. Hey-oh. I say hey-oh. Kroxa come and he's gonna kill them. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Unfortunately, none of the spoiled cards speak to you. Have you tried doing more drugs? I hear drugs can do things like make cardboard speak to you. Thanks, Jeff. Let me call my dealer. Listen, chat, I have never smoked a cigarette or marijuana in my life. I barely drink alcohol. It should all be legal, and we should tax the crap out of it. and we should provide support for people who have addiction problems to resolve those problems. Legalize it, tax it, provide support systems. What's the best way to grind wild cards? Your credit card. You're hungry? I don't have any food down here, dude. You gotta go upstairs.
Okay, Mama. Okay, Daddy.
Love you. Close the door. Why do they have... Do they think they're playing a Mire? Maybe they think they're playing a Mire? They must think we have ovens, right? Yeah, Jake's usually pretty good about closing the door. It's the younger one that refuses to. Yeah, they must have put us on a Mire, which is fair. So, we get to attack with this. They trade, we escape this back. I suppose they could jump block, they could eat this and go to 2, but going to 2 seems real loose. And they only have 4 cards, and I've got enough to escape this again, so you know. Even once I add 1 more card to their bin here, they're still only at 5, so they need 1 more. They need like a Fabled Passage to put their Kroxa back into play. The actual answer is the way to grind cards on demand with Constructed is the 1,000 entry fee. The 1,000 entry fee Constructed events. So if you do well, you only have to go 2 and 2 to turn a profit in those 1,000 gold Constructed events. So if you go 2 and 2, you get your 1,000 gold back, and you get a number of individual card rewards. And if you go better than 2 and 2, you net gold. This deck, if you're someone who is sad that the more mid-rangey / aggressive build of the Kroxa archetype kind of fell off, and you're looking for something else, I think this could be that something else that you're looking for. This felt super reasonable. The only thing in this 75 I wasn't really pleased with, I think, was Angrath Rampage. Eat to Extinction was a little bit middling too. I'm actually not sure that with Agonizing Remorse and Ashiok, we really need Eat to Extinction as a card we're playing. Could go either way on that. Rampage, I would definitely just cut. Scorching Dragonfire was very good. And in fact, I think that would be what I would replace the main deck one with. Erebos' Intervention was also kind of middling, but also kind of okay. Cards I would be thinking about if I was playing this deck and tuning it some more is, are these cards worth playing? You know, I'm not actually certain that Bone Crusher is very good in this format right now. Bone Crusher is good against, like, exactly mono red, and I'm not sure that this deck needs help against mono red, if that makes sense. So again, being what's our problem, what's the solution, I feel like as constructed, this deck is reasonable there. It's fine against Temur, but I haven't played against a ton of Temur Adventures lately, but I suppose if that's a deck you're running into and you want to be good against, that card seems reasonable there. I don't know that Knight of the Ebon Legion is good. I just don't. You could try that too. I think having some sweepers is good. I think another card you could think about in terms of removal is Epic Downfall. I think this is a card that's super reasonable. The fact that this exiles, this might just be a decent swap for to Extinction, honestly. Like, this doesn't tag Planeswalkers, but it's just so much more resource efficient. This exiles Uro, it exiles Cavalier, etc. So this would be what I think about. You could play more Dragonfires, you can play more Bone Crushers, but overall, my takeaway was this felt super reasonable. 4 main deck Ashioks having escape cards to mill 2 continues to feel good, not only in standard, but also in historic as well. So, no, the Black Saga is great. Having some blocking, some life gain, some card selection, as well as a way to fuel these things is really, really good. All right, we are going to dive on into some Historic, which is my personal favorite format in Magic right now for the remainder of the stream. And we're actually going to be kicking off with my favorite deck in this favorite format. We're going to play some Yarok Field to get started here. Remember, if you're someone who's interested in Historic, our first ever Historic/Oglandia Open is going to be taking place on April 12th, this coming Sunday. There's no entry fee. You just need to be subscribed to my channel here on Twitch to join that. We have about 170 players signed up right now. We're going to cap at 256. I'm going to go ahead and hit a quick ad roll while I get my client restarted and get the deck list updated everywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.